Social Security, it all comes down to April 17th. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to discuss some important details that were just released this week from the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, as well as some remarks out of the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, and how all of this relates to Social Security and why April 17th is the key date that they are looking at, as well as some other dates that I do want to point out here in this video. There's some interesting things that are going on right now behind the scenes of the Treasury, the CBO, as well as Congress, the administration, and a whole lot more that we've probably seen in the headlines a lot lately. Therefore, it's a very important topic. Let's get into it and shake out all the details and everything you need to know. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so. And because I am your one and only daily advocate, it is my dedication, my commitment, and my promise to you and everybody right here in the community to continuously be here right by your side every single day, doing all the necessary research on all of this new information that's hitting the wire, watching all this information that's being released each and every day, because it's a very busy, confusing, and very uncertain time right now, and I want to be the person to bring you this information and just continue to be here for you every single day, as a lot of us are wondering what is going on and how is this all going to impact us, our money, benefits, lifestyle, bank account, all of these things like this. Again, I want to shake all that out for you here in this video and all the other videos here on this channel. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and also share this video or any others here on the channel with your friends, family, and social media so everybody else can stay tuned on what is actually going on during this very, very busy and weird time. All right, let's get into it and shake out all the details. What has been released this week, as it's been a pretty busy week, some pretty key people have been coming out here talking about this, and I want to break all this down because I would say this much. There's a lot of fear mongering going on right now. Have you ever heard of that? I don't know if I've ever said that term here on this channel, but I want to say it right now because I've been seeing this so much lately, and I feel like I don't like it. I'm going to say that much. I don't like the different headlines that are coming out right now, okay? Either way, I want you to know I'm here for you. Seriously. That's why I'm here every single day. If you don't believe me, go back and look at all the videos. I literally am here every single day, 7 days a week, holidays, everything like that. Every single day. Anyway, let's talk about the details. All right, so number one, the CBO was just out yesterday projecting that the United States is going to be fresh out of cash sometime between July and September. Interesting. That's a pretty big spread of months there. July to December to September. I'm sorry, but that's a long time, okay? To project that, well, it's going to be somewhere between all of these months, July, August, September. I mean, that's, kind of a long time, 3 months. Either way, we know that the debt ceiling issue is a big issue that's going on right now. Obviously, we've been talking about it a little bit here over the last, month or so, month and a half or so. We've been talking about this a little bit. We've been seeing it in the headlines, and we know that Congress is going back and forth at each other. We know that the administration is all worried right now. We know that there's all kinds of things that are going on with this, right? So the whole debt ceiling issue that's going on right now, we know that it's a big issue. However, the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, suggested sometime between July and September, based on their analysis that was released yesterday, is that we're going to be completely broke in this country, even more broke than we already are, by sometime within that time frame. All right, so that's what the CBO said. Now let's quickly talk about Janet Yellen, and all this is going to come full circle here in just a second in regards to Social Security as well. It comes down to what Janet Yellen said. Now, by the way, Janet Yellen is the Treasury Secretary. In fact, Janet Yellen, a number of years ago, was also the chairwoman of the Federal Reserve. So right now it's Jerome Powell, but a number of years ago, Janet Yellen was actually the chairperson of the Federal Reserve. So she's, pretty smart person, but at the end of the day, she does not have all the answers. Let's just be real for a second here, okay? She's also the person, just like Jerome Powell, what was that, a year and a half ago or so? No, it was about a year ago. These two were out and said, oh, don't worry, this inflation is transitory. Guess what? It's not transitory, okay? Transitory meaning very short term. I'm sorry, but 2 years now, that's not short term, okay? I don't care who you are. 2 years is not short term, okay? Maybe in the grand scheme of things, as in looking at our entire lives as a full picture, then yeah, 2 years of our full life is, kind of small. But anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked here. But my point is, Janet Yellen was just out a couple days ago as well, suggesting that she has enough money within the Treasury right now to continue paying the bills until June 5th. Okay, so that's the assessment as of right now. However, like I said, the CBO has their report coming out sometime between July and September where they're going to run out of cash. So we have this remark and the information coming out of Janet Yellen suggesting she has enough money to pay the bills until June 5th, and we have the CBO saying sometime between July and September. However, it all comes down to April 17th. I know I'm throwing a lot of dates right now, but again, this is what they're suggesting with all these reports. Now, let me tell you about April 17th. What is that? That's the day old Uncle Sam is going to come a knocking, and if you don't give him some money in his hand, well, I'm not sure what else, but you probably don't want to find out. Let's just say that much, okay? So Uncle Sam is going to become knocking. He's going to be like old Santa Claus knocking on doors, but rather than dropping off presents, he's going to be coming asking for some money in his big old bag, all right? You better drop some money in his bag, otherwise he's not going to be happy, okay? So that is tax day. April 17th is what it comes down to. So according to the reports here and according to the suggestions on all of this, it all comes down to how much money the federal government brings in through tax revenues between now and tax day. That is going to be the deciding factor as far as how much money the federal government has to continue keeping the government running before they're literally fresh out of cash, right? It all comes down to us. Basically, how much money do we put in old Uncle Sam's bag, right? Do we put in a 1? Do we drop in 100? Do we drop in, a lump of coal? What do we do, right? It'd be nice if we could drop a lump of coal, right? Let's just hope that he doesn't put it into his pressure cooker and turn it into a diamond, because then we lose, right? Ah, man, should have thought of that ourselves, right? Anyway, I don't think it works like that, but maybe, I don't know. That'd be pretty cool, right? I think we'd all be buying some big old lumps of coal and throwing them into a pressure cooker and getting diamonds at the end of the day. How cool would that be, right? Anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. But anyway, my point is, according to the reports here, they're suggesting it all comes down to the tax revenues that is going to be brought in between now and tax day, okay? So that is what's going to determine how much longer the federal government has to continue paying the bills. That's why that big spread is coming out of the CBO based on, well, sometime between July and September. Okay, well, as soon as April 17th rolls around, and as of right now, to be fair, that's still a little ways out from now, so we still got quite a bit of time here. But based on these remarks and based on how much money they actually bring in or possibly pay out in the form of refunds, we do know this much so far. The IRS has come out and suggested refunds are quite a bit less than what they have been the last couple years, because the recovery rebate credit, otherwise known as stimulus checks, and the child tax credit payments, there was nothing last year. Therefore, less money is going out to people as a result of tax refunds. So that's what it comes down to, is how much money they bring in through taxes to see how much longer they can keep the lights on. All right, so now let's quickly talk about why. Okay, so we got all that, got it, we understand now. Okay, now how does this relate to Social Security? Like I said earlier, a lot of fear-mongering going on right now. And Janet Yellen has also been talking about this as well, which is we won't be able to pay out Social Security benefits, veterans benefits, and all these things like this in the event that we hit the debt ceiling, okay? So let's talk about this for a second here, because there's a lot of stirring of the pot. There's a lot of fear being thrown around right now. Let me say this much right now. Please do not worry about this, okay? This is just a tactic that all these politicians love to do to say, oh my, we better do something, and it's blank's fault. When I say blank, I mean either party, okay? And the reason I said blank is because I don't take political sides in my videos. I think they're all a bunch of goons, and they don't know what they're doing. I mean, clearly, right? They're all playing the political game. But at the end of the day, let's just be real for a second. It doesn't matter who we point the finger at. They all have to do it. It's their job, right? It's their job to either raise the debt ceiling or whatever they do on this thing. Whatever it happens to do, come down to, it is Congress's job. That's what they're there for, right? They are the elected officials. They're in their place. They have a job because of us, right? I mean, they were elected to be put there, right? So anyway, when it comes down to it, this is their job. So long story short, there's been a lot of talk here that, oh my, we can't pay out Social Security benefits and things like this. Now, again, I want to say this much. As of right now, by the way, I'm recording this video in mid-February, okay? We've got a lot of time here. A lot of time, but at the same time, we can't waste time, because we know that if we waste time, well, then again, we're going to be in a bad situation. But my point is, when it comes down to it, we have a lot of time between now and when we could potentially be seeing a default in this country. Now, here's the thing. They've never defaulted in this country. What makes us think that now is the time they're going to allow a default in this country? It's not happening. We're not going to default in this country. They will come together. However, all of these people love to continue to come out and say, oh my, it's their fault, and we're not going to be able to pay Social Security benefits because this party is, holding up negotiations or whatever they're saying. It's a negotiation. I mean, we've talked about this before. This is how negotiations go, right? Sometimes, just like a sport, I mean, how many times have you seen it in a football game or something like that where they hold the ball on purpose to run the clock down, right? It's a negotiation. Seriously, let's be real for a second here. Okay, so that is what it's coming down to, which, by the way, I don't know anything about sports. All I know is that sometimes, like football, for example, they purposely hold the ball and they draw the clock down, right? They do it on purpose. It's the same thing. It's a negotiation. They want to run the clock down so that the other team can't get the ball and score, right? During the last few seconds of the game, right? So it's the same thing with this. Congress, they're trying to run the clock down because they know that the more urgent that the situation is, the more the more desperate they get, essentially, to come together on a deal, okay? That's basically the parameters of what's going on, okay? So it's just a negotiation, and they're trying to run the clock down because they know it'll give them more negotiating leverage. So that's what it's down to. Okay, so long story short here, and I know I said that like 3 minutes ago, but let's just say it again right now, okay? When it comes down to your monthly benefit, if you've been seeing this in the headlines, oh my, the sky's falling, we won't be able to pay Social Security benefits. Well, in the event of a default, true, we may be having an issue of paying out Social Security benefits, but we're not going to have that issue. It's not going to default in this country. There's no way. Now, here's the thing. Let me be really fair for a second. There is a chance that we default in this country, but I highly, highly doubt it. There's just no way, okay? I mean, obviously, anything can happen. Yes, they could possibly come together and say, no deal, we're going for a default, okay? Maybe they decide to do that this time, but why would it be this time that they decide, okay, we're going to go for it, we're just going to let it fall off a cliff, and fine, we're just going to walk away from the whole thing? There's no way they're going to do that. It's always an option, but they're just not going to allow that to happen. In fact, politicians, as in the lawmakers from both sides, again, both parties have said this, that they're not going to allow this to happen. They're going to go together. They're going to work on this. They're going to disagree. They're going to agree to disagree, that they're going to have some troubles going ahead to come together on an agreement. But eventually they will come together, okay? So, long story short, and again, that's believe the third or fourth time I've said that. And again, I'm just trying to make this very clear here, which is, please don't worry about your benefit, because they've indicated that they will come together on a deal, and they always come together on a deal, which they will. But again, if you've been seeing people like, Janet Yellen or other people out there saying this is going to be a direct impact to seniors, people with disabilities, fixed income beneficiaries. True. Yes, it would be. But as of right now, we still have a lot of time. So it's literally just stirring the pot. It's literally just causing a bunch of fear that's unnecessary. So again, like I said earlier, and I want to say it again one more time, please do not worry about your benefit. If we fast forward, say, 2-3 months from now, and we're still having this discussion, well, then my opinion is going to change a little bit, okay? Again, I'm just being fair with you. If we fast forward, like I said, I'm recording this video in mid-February right now. Let's just say that we fast forward to, say, mid-April, late April, mid-May, and we're still having this conversation, and they have not come together on an agreement. Well, then my opinion might be, well, everybody, here's what we're looking at. We might need to start worrying a little bit now, because they're really playing with fire and we don't like it, okay? They're playing with fire on our behalf. Thank you very much, right? I mean, if somebody's going to do it, I want to be the guy to do it, because honestly, well, never mind. I'm not going to say that. Anyway, you kind of get where I'm going with that, right? Anyway, I love a poking stick. Who loves a poking stick? Let me know down below if you enjoy a poking stick when you're at a campfire. I mean, let's just be real, right? The poking stick is awesome, right? You get to poke around in there and do all kinds of stuff you're not supposed to do. You know what I mean? Anyway, you get what my point is. So right now, please don't worry about it, but stay tuned on all this stuff. I'm going to continue watching it just like I'm watching everything else right now. If we get to the point where we're 2.5 months out from now and they have not come together on a deal, well then let's have a discussion at that time and discuss where we currently stand, because my opinion on that will probably change a little bit. As far as, the situation has changed, and now we should probably, get prepared here, because you just never know what they're not going to do, okay? But as of right now, if you see all these headlines coming out and saying, oh my, the sky's falling, well, it's just a tactic for them to try to negotiate, and basically for them to point fingers is really what it comes down to, right? Anyway, long story short, I hope this gives you a better idea of what's going on out there and some of the details as far as the headlines, what's coming out of the CBO, the Treasury Secretary, Congress, the lawmakers, the administration. It's all just a big old finger pointing game. So I don't know. I guess the big thing that I would suggest is I think that all of them should stand in front of a mirror and point at the mirror, because who's the problem? It's them. It's them. They should point right at the mirror because it's them. They should have a good look right in the mirror because it's always them, right? They are the ones who have the ability to do this, and we're all waiting and waiting on Congress. That is who this comes down to. So it's not us. But then again, remember, at the end of the day, long story short here, which is if Biden wanted to, he could issue this $1 trillion coin. Remember that whole thing? I talked about it in a separate video, maybe a month and a half or so ago. I made a dedicated video talking about this $1 trillion platinum coin. It's a total joke. Anyway, go back and check out that video. It's, I don't know, like I said, probably a month and a half ago or so or something like that. I talked about that. But that's another option as well. If they don't come together, they could always mint a $1 trillion coin, give it to the Federal Reserve. They could deposit it into their vault and then print up $1 trillion. Boom, done. So that's what they could do. So it's monopoly in real life, right? Just printing up a bunch of money whenever you want to. God, that'd be nice, right? We always have a little printing press. Gee, I think I needed $1,000 today. Let's just put the print button on $1,000. Boom, got myself $1,000, and now I get to go do what I want, right? How nice would that be? That's not the case, though. Anyway, please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, and I hope this one helps you to better understand the situation that's going on right now. Either way, enjoy, and yeah, I'll catch you again later in the next video.